Hello and happy Saturday, folks. Barnstorm and Betty here. Going to cover a couple of topics. Just enjoying some coffee and relaxing. I did a little bit of cleanup and I still have a lot to do. I'm feeling very conflicted this morning. I know I need to clean house, but there's so many things happening today. For starters, like I said, I am still sad I am not in Tulsa, but the money just isn't there. And as cool as it would be to be on stage interviewing people, I love Tulsa, but I couldn't justify the trip. It would not have helped me out anyway, have better, would have made financial situations worse. So I am home today, and there are so many things happening on Route 66. Maybe not Route 66 or about it, but there are townwide sales I wanted to go to, and uh, there's a skydiving and things like that in Lincoln, Illinois, at the airport. So not really 66, but it seemed really cool, and I'm just really tired. I got home late. It just kept raining in Carlinville. Um, the band stopped around 9. It was sprinkling and then it stopped. And then I decided, I really haven't seen Carlinville. Carlinville was where I joined my Route 66 caravan in April at the hotel, and I had never been to the downtown, and it was really beautiful. The Loomis house downtown, I want to go on a haunted tour in October. I want to see inside that building. It looks kind of like something that would belong in New Orleans and not in the middle of cornfield, central Illinois. So I actually walked around downtown. It was a beautiful night, and it was just one of those towns where you felt like you could walk around and be safe. Hardly, people were still kind of walking around and putting stuff away, and it was funny. So the sheriff came out and talked to me. I had turned my brights on the Cannonball jail, and next door to it is a real functioning police station. And the sheriff came out and asked if everything was okay. He had reports that I was shining my brights. I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to record a video, show it on my crown and sash, be like, I wanted to show the video. I didn't, unfortunately, because of the rain, I didn't get to come over and see the Cannonball jail during the day. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry. He's like, oh, take your time. So then I decided to take 66 home as much as I could. It was raining, but there are concerns. Like, there's a very low-lying railroad bridge in Carlinville, and there was water, but with all this rain we've been getting, there is a concern of, and it being dark, is there any areas that are flooded out? Like when I was in Dwight coming home the other day, there were roads completely out and there was some traffic cones. So, but I also don't like driving on the highway on 55 because you get semi trucks going by you and it just blows my car. The wind shear just blows my car and blind you. And I'm sure that it happens for everyone's vehicle, but it's very scary when you're those few seconds where you can't see anything and you feel like you're in a washing machine. So I try to take Route 66 home, and I did. I stopped in Lincoln. I wanted to see the mill lit up. Unfortunately, the blades were not lit. I'm not sure if they're closed or they shut them down at a certain time. I think that would be really helpful if they would disclose that, just like in Amboy, Illinois, at the Roadrunner. The lights are shut off, but they have a little button you can push, and the lights will stay on for 15 minutes. So, and sadly, Lincoln's had a few issues here recently. Serenity Tea, really nice bubble tea stop, by the way, next door to a really great Mexican restaurant, put out a food pantry, and somebody decided to ransack the food pantry, take the lids off soup cans, and dump food all over their sidewalk. And I wonder who did that. Like, I can't see a homeless person doing that. Like, if you're hungry, you're obviously not going to sabotage or spoil food. So I hope they have security cameras because that's just really sad in general. And they put the giant Abe sculpture on stilts, and I don't think I like that. I miss him being with wheels, and I mean they had a barrier around it, but him being on stilts is just weird. I don't know. I don't dig it. A lot of people are opposed to him being downtown as opposed to the hotel. I will say I do miss it, driving down 66 and seeing him and like turning to the corner garage. But anyway, I got home super late, and I tell you, I don't know why, but lately at 10 o'clock I hit this wall. I get very tired, super tired, and I almost wanted to pull over and sleep in my car again, but I'm like, no, I need to really push myself. I'll feel better at home. So I did make it home, and there's so many things today. The townwide garage sales, the thing at the airport. Now tonight is, near me are two little small towns that are holding fireworks shows. I'm really disappointed. One of them used to always be on Wednesday nights, and it would be a thing where my son would play like Little League baseball, and we would shoot over down 5th Street and go see the fireworks. Well, for whatever reason, they're both on Saturdays this year. I don't know why, and I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see, is it going to happen? I know Ethan's probably going to go out with his friends. My mom hasn't really gone out into crowds since COVID, but I think I at least want to go see the fireworks shows, and it still baffles me that we are so close to the 4th of July. I wish I had the means to go to New York City and see the ball drop. Like, that would be amazing. So they're doing the ball drop on the 4th of July this year, and that would be so cool to see. But anyway, yep, I'm still in pajamas and in my favorite little blanket. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk about the topic of haunted things for a minute. So I went to Mammoth Cave National Park, and I was there for a week to volunteer with an organization in the Park Service. And I really wish I would have had more time. Looking back, I'm like, man, I wanted to do too many things. And part of it was derailed because of that stupid guy that I'd went on a few dates with. Really regret wasting my time in a full day that I could have had down there. And I actually meandered a lot in Indiana. I went to go see like Lincoln's home and things like that. I'm hoping to have a video of my little trip. But I mean, it's a great monument. It's really well done, guys. And you can see my hair is still really crazy because of hairspray and it getting wet. So I need to wash it here in a little bit. Having trouble getting motivated to do anything today. Like, I think I've hit that wall of I'm exhausted. But anyway, checked out like some Goodwills. I always go to Goodwills and Dollar Trees on my travels. It's like a must. Or especially locally owned thrift stores. Love those. And anyway, so we stayed in a facility that it was kind of alienated because you had the Green River Ferry, which, don't get me wrong, is cool, but it only holds 2 cars, and it closes at 6 p.m. and opens at 6 a.m., which, I don't know, I just feel like there needs to be an alternative bridge because, of emergencies. Time is precious. And while we were there, the ferry closed due to the water levels being low, which we'll get it back to that, but yeah, so my first night, well, I think it went okay, but then I was up late. It was just like the novelty of everything and being excited, and was reading my training manual because I had signed up super late for this trip. Like, my homework was due July 3rd. I got it done within a week, though. Like, I buttoned it up. It was due before the trip, or the day that I showed up, but they gave me extended time. And I was up late, and I had my light on, and my light exploded. Like, the whole valance needed to be repaired, and I thought, that's just really weird. Nobody else had trouble with their stuff, and it just really freaked me out. And it took several days, and several people kept coming in and out of my room to repair it, and it finally got repaired, but it was kind of annoying too. Like, people were tracking in dirt and dust, and like there was a pile of sand after they fixed it. And then the next night I heard a very loud thud, and I could have sworn it was on the roof above me. And at first I thought it was my the lady next to me. She was really chill. I really got along with her, and I'm appreciative of her. And I was like, I checked on her. I'm like, did you fall out of bed? So we were staying in dormitory like rooms, but luckily we had enough beds and stuff. We all got a separate room. And I'm like, well, maybe she fell out of bed. And when it was loud, and she said she hadn't. So, I mean, but I swear by a loud thud. And I remember the night of the super full moon, I was going to go outside, and I just felt like, I don't know, I was just creeped out. And I know like there's people camping outside, there's people sleeping in a van. And I don't know, like I did not want to miss it. And of course it was like the forest kind of ate the sky. There was very little free space to look out. So I was awake and kind of moving around the house, but I just felt terrified to go outside. I kept trying to look out the window, and I just felt like I was being watched from outside. I know that sounds crazy, but I just kept feeling like I was being watched. Not by my team. My team was amazing, but it was just like this feeling. And then sometimes since I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to shower and be ready by 5 a.m., the sounds outside were horrifying. And I've spent a lot of time in the woods. I was in scouting for over 10 years as a committee woman on my son's troop. So I've been in all kinds of situations. And Kentucky's famous for the dogmen and Bigfoot and just all kinds of things, but it's just the unnerving sounds. And there's been stories of feral people even in the cave. I mean, there's 600 miles plus of caves, but the light exploding and the thud were really something. And then this is going to sound probably half crazy, but here goes. One of the reasons I showed up was because my friends were there of over 12 years, and I hadn't spent a lot of time with them. I met them on another trip when I was working with Park Service. And it's just really sad. I've been in their home, I've been their friend for a long time, and they slept outside in a tent. They chose, instead of dormitory, which kudos to them. Like, for me, I'm like, I couldn't pass up a bed. I mean, we had to bring our own bedding. We had our own chores, like, for checking out. We had this, like, extensive list of things to do, and it kind of chuckled about we had to wash the baseboards, and the baseboards looked like they hadn't been washed since the 1930s. And I took pride in really trying to clean up this room, because it was neat. I'm really excited to feel like I left my flavoring and my spice is a part of this house that's been around for almost 100 years, if not more. I mean, to me, it gave me 30s vibes. Had to sign a disclaimer because it had lead paint. But anyway, we were in leadership training, and I got paired with my friend, and we had a very frustrating day. Part of it was because the ferry was out, and it derailed work by an hour, and we had a very hard work that day. We were shoveling rocks and having to wheelbarrow them. I was doing digging up trenches for water runoffs and to put in water bars. Not my favorite thing. I was out of my element. I'll tell you this. I thought we were working in the cave. So I packed long sleeve shirts that were to keep you warm that I would normally wear as a base layer for the winter. We weren't allowed to wear short sleeves because of ticks or whatever. And I was kind of frustrated with that. Like, Park Service could wear their uniform, which were short sleeves. And I don't think it was their rules. I think it was the other group's policy that we were with. But I'm just like, this stinks, like I'm burning up. It's hot. My day off, I wore a tank top and was very comfortable. And, but anyway, it was just kind of like like we were all physically pushed. And one of the things we had to do is carry a first aid kit, and it was pretty extensive, and they were letting us kind of experience it. They call it the baby because it is heavy. And then midday through, I was just like, hey, I'm going to call him, John. John's not his name, but we'll call him John. I'm like, hey, John, it's your turn to carry the baby. I wasn't like, hey, John, it's your turn. You take care of this shit. Like, I was not rude about it. It was kind of sing-songy and kind of fun about it. And he's like, well, fine, then you take a wheelbarrow. I'm like, excuse me? Like, no, this is your turn. We have to do this half day. What does a wheelbarrow have to do with it? And I wanted to be like, well, then you take the pickaxe and you, dig at the ground, hit rock and do clay. And, it was just so bizarre. Like, he was screaming at me, and the leader of our group, like, heard it, and he kind of lied about it. He says I was bitching at him, and I'm like, other people heard I was not bitching. I was just like, please just take the bag, like, it's your turn. And so, I'm glad that people stood by me, because I certainly didn't yell at him, and I didn't understand, it was just kind of weird too. Like, when you go on a trip with somebody and his wife was there, and, normally we've all gotten along. My expectation is, maybe we hang out, and I did miss Sunday because of fuckboy, and getting there late. They, all went out to eat at a small little tavern. I missed that. But I thought, you know, what's it gonna hurt if I join them at the lake to go swimming or do something one night and I get, you know, wanting to spend time with your wife. But I just found that really odd. And then, you know, him and his wife sat by me every meal except for like the last after this huge blow up. Um, Definitely this one lady, the neighbor, the one that I heard the thud, said she was being bitchy to him and she apologized and he said he lied to our leader saying it had something to do with that conversation. I'm like, no, you were like, don't bitch at me. And I'm like, I'm not. And I just wonder, you know, like him and his wife were in the woods camping, and I just find that so odd that a friend of 12 years just completely snapped out on me, unexpected, unprovoked. You know, around lunchtime, I was trying to build morale. Like, that's one of my things, the tenets of scouting, is a scout is cheerful. People were exhausted, and he had a topic in the morning we didn't finish of what was our first car, just to kind of go around while we're eating. And he was just like, I don't want to talk about it now. People are tired. They just want to get their assignment. And my leader said I couldn't do stuff unless he approved it. So, and it just kind of like felt like I wasn't heard, I wasn't seen. But my point is I find it really odd that a friend of 12 years just snapped out on me. Their whole character changed. And like I said, him and his wife were in a tent. I was in the house. We sat and had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The night before, when we sat down and strategized how we were going to lead, everything seemed fine. And they just snapped out. And, you know, instead of getting an apology, I get this text saying, like, hey, don't ever contact us again. I'm like, wow. So, could it be something forest related? Like I said, that whole area just felt heavy and dark in a way I can't explain. Like, I wanted to explore the cave more. I wanted to do the Violet City Lantern Tour, but they only did it on weekends. So I wanted to see the remains of the old hospital and things like that. But, you know, I went down to Tennessee and wanted to explore the waterfalls and just kind of ran out of time because I wanted to get to art camp. Like, my trip ended, the group thing ended on a Saturday. That Monday was art camp, so that didn't leave a lot of time. And I got back late as far as the art camp. I wasn't there in the beginning. But I mean, it just seems really odd, just the dark feelings and the thuds and the feeling watched, and then my friend of 12 years out of nowhere snapping out on me and ending our friendship. I don't know, just something felt very dark and heavy there. Oh, in the cave, I did do the history tour, and before the big fight, John and I were exploring like this cavern behind the seating area, and we could see our breath. We were 400 feet under the surface, and you know, it was actually our leader thought we were vaping, and I'm like, no, we're not vaping. That's our breath. We saw like a cloud of breath down a cavern, and there was nobody there. So what was that? It was like almost like a cloud, and I really think it was a ghost. You know, there should have been there was nobody back there. We weren't really allowed there. Like I said, John and I were poking around with our flashlights a little bit. And it's just like, it's really sad. I went on this trip and to lose a friend of over a decade to snap out on me for no reason. Like I said, I was just like, hey, it's your turn to hold the baby now, you know, and to be snapped out on. And like I said, I'm glad other people heard it. I mean, it's very, very public. So, I don't know. And now they're going to move a cemetery. They're actually going to uproot Cave City Cemetery for a data center. And I'm just like, wow. I love Cave City. It looks like the 1960s came and died. A lot of historic hotels, unfortunately, they are filled with um, permanent residents, and it just seemed unsafe. You had a few like more along the highway, the more expensive chains. Or I wanted to stay in the Wigwam, but I couldn't justify $150 to do it. It was probably a once in a lifetime thing. And then the guy kind of came out. I think he wasn't too happy I was on his property taking pictures were. And like San Bernardino and Holbrook, that was expected. You could come into the lobby. They sold merchandise. They were happy to see you. And here he was very like, what are you doing on my lawn? You know, kind of thing. So I wish I could have afforded it and justified it because I don't feel like I'd be going back to Cave City, even though I would love to. I was also taking a few pictures of the Gun Town, Fun Town, Ghost Town. And this guy's like, what are you doing? I wasn't even really on the lawn. He's like, what are you doing on my neighbor's property? It's private property. I don't want to call the cops on you. And I just patronized his business. And I'm like, hey, I told the cashier I was going to be taking a couple pictures of the old haunted house. He's like, well, you need to go to the bottom of the hill and take pictures. That way, it's more iconic anyway. And, People urbex there all the time. At one point, the previous owner said people come up and take whatever you want, so they took a lot of the seating and things like that. But I don't know, the whole area just gave me off-putting vibes. And there's a lot of hostility to the new Buc-ee's that's 20 minutes away. The town is trying to blame Buc-ee's for the demise, but a lot of their things were outdated, or just not so nice customer service, or just pricing. So I mean, I'm glad I saw. I mean, maybe I would go back. I mean, it was a neat space. I would love to hit the 400 miles of yard sales. I caught the tail end of that this year, but anyway, if you've had any dark or spooky experiences in Mammoth Cave State Park, let me know about it. Or if you want to talk about spooky experiences you've had in general, that'd be great too. But anyway, with that, I know I need to get my butt in the shower and get into gear and do something, because even though I'm exhausted and I just don't want to do anything, this is precious time. I should be cleaning or going to see something, But and last night's hard. Those 2 hours there and 2 hours back, that was half a tank of gas, a little bit more. I'm calculating. I'm like, how much deliveries do I have to do that? How many plasma donations did that just cost me, or the costume? So, like I said, I'm really frustrated they can't control the weather, but I feel like they should have prolonged the contest and put it on the square where everybody else was, because limiting it to people's families that showed up or were with them just wasn't fair, but I'm glad I walked around. I'm glad I got to see Carlinville. I definitely want to go back and see the Loomis haunted hotel in October. And there was a lot of great things there. Cute little boutiques, a lot of antique stores that were closed. You just never know what's in them, I love antique stores. But anyway, with that, I need to get my butt into gear, and I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and hopefully the fireworks are still a go.